Hi, I'm Whitney Finus,
And hi, I'm Sarah Robinson, and
and
this is
welcome to the Creative Lab
welcome to
podcast.
the Creative Lab podcast.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on here and listening. We are so excited to have you here. We have been planning this podcast together since September 2022, but it's been on our minds for much longer than that. So we're so excited. 2023 is the year that it is coming into fruition. We're stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess a little bit about the podcast. So we chose the name Creative Lab Podcast. And the thing that inspired us was Sarah and I actually went to art school together. We studied photography together. And in the photography lab, while we're developing film and doing all our work or editing, we would just be chatting and talking about everything. And so this is kind of a space where we want to recreate that kind of environment where we're creatives, we're working, we're running our own businesses, and we're also dealing with mental health and a lot of, the spectrum of topics. So that's kind of the vibe we are trying to go for with this podcast is just creative people talking about anything that affects our lives and careers.
Yeah, if you went to or took an art class or anything like that, you know that the lab class is the place for the gossip that can be slightly toxic, or it's also the place just for making connections, getting to know each other. And so that's kind of the type of community that we wanted to cultivate here with this podcast, is definitely more community over competition, because sometimes it can be really daunting uh, in any type of creative community.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because we're all dealing with similar challenges and can learn from each other and grow with each other and better the industry. So, yeah, we're really excited. And even though we're both photographers, we are going to be talking with the whole spectrum of creatives and, awesome people. So, coming up, we have a wedding photographer we're interviewing, we have a boundary coach we're interviewing. So, we'll be talking to models, designers, any and all creatives. All right, so we'll just go ahead and start with introducing ourselves. Just a quick intro. So, Sarah, do you want to start with that?
Yeah. So I am Sarah Robinson. I am a commercial photographer with a fine art background. I love all things food and food photography and product photography. I have always loved all things analog. I got my start in high school, and in high school, they actually made you take a film class before you took a commercial class. And at the time, I was so annoyed with it. I was like, I'm way too good for this. I have my Canon Rebel. I am ready to take on the world. But I ended up falling in love with film photography, and I would much rather just be shooting film all day. And I'm in the process of getting people to pay me for that, so that would be great.
Yes.
Um, but I now do almost exclusively commercial work. I have worked for agencies, but right now I'm doing mostly freelance, and I love it. I love throwing some film in there for fun, and just really having my commercial work be fine art influenced. And as Whitney said, we met in college, both of us studying photography. And so it's been nice to have that educational background. But at the same time, even though I do have that background, I have very mixed feelings on whether or not, it's necessary to have a successful degree. So that's something I'm looking to explore more and get more opinions on in this podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to cover that in an episode. That's a great
Yeah.
topic.
Your turn.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Whitney Fineoff. I was born in Utah, but I grew up just like all over the United States. I opened my business in 2016. I started doing weddings because that was what I thought the only career available to me was, which is
Oh,
like
yeah.
really funny looking back on now. I started going to college, to art school in Washington, D.C. And that's where I started taking some studio lighting and product photography classes. And that's where I just fell in love with product photography. I just love the creativity, the concepts. It's just endless things that you can create. With weddings, I felt like super limited because it was just a couple kind of over and over again, which there are a lot of talented wedding photographers that break out of that. And, but that's one reason why I loved product much more. But anyways, so I transferred to a different school in Utah. That's where I met Sarah. We were in the same program, and I officially opened my business in 2016. And I started doing products pretty quickly after that. And since then, it's just been a learning journey. Learning how to find clients, work with clients, set healthy boundaries. Also, in 2020, I had my first child, which was awesome. Little toddler boy. He is the cutest and a terror, but he's great. So I've been learning how to balance being a parent and running my own business at home, and that's definitely been challenging. So, yeah, we'll have lots of interesting things to talk about.
It's awesome. It's been great to get to know each other in school, and then I was a little bit behind you in school, so I finished school, and then the old pandemic happened, and it was a bit chaotic, and then it's been nice to reconnect,
Yeah.
get this thing going.
Yes, it's been so fun. And it makes it less lonely. I think being a creative entrepreneur at home can be a little lonely because you don't have
Oh,
coworkers you're
yeah.
working with. So
Yeah.
it's great. I'm so excited.
Yeah. It can definitely be lonely.
All right. We just wanted to get started with some fun get to know you questions. So let's get started.
All right, Whitney, what is one piece of advice you would give to yourself 5 years ago?
Okay. I think the biggest piece of advice I would give myself 5 years ago would be that done is better than perfect. Um, I am a recovering perfectionist. So sometimes, especially earlier in my career, I would get really caught up on just like the tiniest details that maybe aren't even that important and like the
Mhm.
fear of, something not being perfect. And I also heard this acronym last week, which I definitely would have told myself 5 years ago, heck, even last year, that fail stands for first attempt in learning. If you're making mistakes and it's not perfect, like, congratulations, you are becoming a better person and learning.
Yeah. I oftentimes get really nervous about doing something new because I know I'm not going to be perfect at it. And in my mind, I have to be perfect at everything, obviously, all the
Of
time.
course.
Otherwise, I'm not worthy of anything. And of course, I mean, that's how that works. But I saw a quote on the old Pinterest as I was scrolling, and it was talking about how if you is something, and it said it a lot more eloquently, this beautiful pin, than I'm going to say it, I'm sure. But it was something like, if you weren't ready, you wouldn't have the opportunity, or something like that. And that is
Ooh,
like so interesting to think about, because really things come to you when you're ready for them, and when, like, yeah, you might fail at them the first few times, but so what? I like that just means, like, once you're ready to like succeed, you're going to succeed. But like, you need to fail first. I don't know if this is making any sense, but it was along that
yeah.
line, and hopefully that made sense.
I love that. I think, like, every creative struggles with that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
of just feeling
Yeah.
worthy, and then feeling worthy, and
Yeah.
then once you finally get to the point of feeling worthy, you're like, well, now I need to be perfect. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
you you can be worthy and you can fail at the same time. Both of those things can exist.
Yes, like, failure is necessary. It's not it's a sign that you're doing something really
Yeah,
good,
if you're not failing, you're not
or
trying
it's
hard enough.
exactly. Yes.
So,
Yeah. How about you?
5 years ago, I was just starting college. And all throughout college, I feel like I was very into what my superiors thought of me and what my professors thought of me versus what I thought of me or what was actually like good for my career.
Hmm.
So I would tell myself to maybe chill out on trying to get people's approval. Focus a little bit more on stuff that will help your career. And those things don't have to be mutually exclusive, but maybe focus more on enjoying your college experience other than getting people's approval. So,
I love that.
yeah.
Going along with that, I think that the people I would trust the most now with advice for my career would be people who have the career and life that I want.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So I feel like I feel the same way. Like the professors helped me a lot, and also there are some things that did not work for me. And like people who actually had the kind of life that I wanted, they were able to give better advice.
Yeah.
So
It's
I love that.
it's like look towards the people who you want to be rather than just your professors, because if you want to be a professor, that might be the greatest thing, and there's part of me that wants to be a professor, but at the same time don't want to be that type of professor. No offense to any of my professors that are listening, and they're probably not, but it's just I just might not want to do those exact things. So
Mhm. Yeah, everyone has a different approach. I love that. Just like trusting yourself.
yes, trusting yourself in what you want to do. And along
Lo-
those lines, what would be Whitney's dream client? Uh,
Okay.
Spill the deets.
Yes. So I feel like there's a million brands that I would love to work with. So I'm going to like focus more on aesthetic.
Hmm.
So I am a color, glowy, fun girly. My ideal shoot would be having a diverse group of models with like makeup artists and I think it would be focused on just like clean skin. So like really glowing skin and really bright and fun colors. Probably pastel. I love pastels, but I love all colors.
Yes.
And then just playing with serums or face creams or flowers or fun shapes or natural elements like water or bubbles, things like that. So just really playful. That is my love.
That is exactly what I think of when I think of your photography as pastels and lots of
Yay.
fun textures and very bright, perfect lighting. So that is anyone who's needing that, hit up Whitney.
How about you, Sarah?
My my dream shoot slash client is, hear me out on this. I have like two you okay, so you across the board, uniformly, I really enjoy single lighting setups or single lighting setups with a lot of reflectors and things like that to maintain that good lighting. For a more of like a harsh single lighting setup, I would love to do very like greasy fast food up close, lots of like textures of people biting, maybe like ripping a chicken wing, that type of thing. Like that is, I would love to do something like that with food. In the other direction, I recently shot for an esthetician's office in Provo, but I loved shooting for them, and it was also a single lighting setup with I think 3 reflectors, and it was so pretty and just soft lighting and focused on lots of natural textures, and I would love to do that with all also with models focused on, as you were saying, diverse models, real skin textures, and just like natural textures from the earth and natural textures from skin, and just like the real actual human experience rather than super airbrushed models putting on nice serums, like
Mhm.
still nice like serums being put on but not airbrushing the hell out of people, you know what I mean?
Yes, I love that. And I definitely think the industry is going that way and just being more authentic. And people are sick of the body shaming,
Yeah.
and companies making so much money off of creating insecurities. So,
Yes, people.
like, embracing that, I Yeah.
Yes. People profit off of insecurity out there, ladies. Loving
Yes.
yourself is a radical act.
Yes, it is. You can still love beauty and skincare and all those things. Um, but yeah, that's a whole other topic I'm sure we'll talk about at some point.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay, so question for you and me eventually. But Sarah, what is your go-to coffee order?
All right, my go-to coffee order, I tend to get a little heated about this, but I love the sugar. I can't even say it. I'm already upset. It's the sugar cookie almond milk latte from Starbucks, and it's seasonal, and I when it's not there, I die a little bit inside, but I do go to bat for it up against the PSL because pumpkin spice is great, but sugar cookie almond milk latte is better. Now, when it's not there, what I typically get is a dirty chai because I'm basic. And if I'm not feeling coffee, or if you're a non coffee drinker out there, the hot chocolate, hazelnut hot chocolate is great, or the pink drink from Starbucks is also fab. So that's a little something for everyone. This is the Creative Lab. No, this is the Drink Lab podcast. So, anyway, on that note, Whitney, what is your go to coffee order?
So, quick note on the pink drink. So, I used to buy that for my toddler
Uh huh.
because I didn't know it had caffeine in it.
It has caffeine
Any
in it.
It has caffeine in it, which I
Oh,
didn't know.
I'm in trouble.
So, any toddler parents, just be aware, you know. They have other drinks that don't have coffee in them. But yeah, the pink drink is delicious. Okay, so my go-to coffee order would be anything mocha. So Dutch Bros, I love like their truffle hazelnut latte. I think that's what it's called. Incredible.
Ooh, yeah.
I also love the white hot toasted white chocolate latte from Starbucks. And then when I'm at home, I'll just my favorite like fancy thing if I'm feeling fancy and actually take time to make a good cup of coffee is adding chai seasonings to my coffee grounds. So like cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg. It's heavenly. So, yeah.
Okay, side note, and this is for the local Utah gals. Have you ever been to Bjorn's Brew?
No, I haven't.
So it is delicious. And there is a white chocolate something. It's a latte that they have
Ooh,
there. And it's super cute. They have a little dog on their logo. That's why I went there initially. And they give you, they got me with the dog logo. They have, and they give you like little Biscoff cookies with your coffee too.
that's so cute.
It's,
Wait, I think I have been there because I think they donate to animal
yeah, they
shelters,
do.
right?
It's a
That
great
is
local
amazing.
company sponsor us, Bjorn's Brew. But yeah,
Yes. Go there. That sounds
yeah,
amazing. I'm going to have to try
yeah.
that.
So, on that note, what is something that you have learned the past year professionally?
Okay, I'm excited. Oh, sorry. I'm diabetic, so that is my pump beeping. 1 second.
I have a dog. Whitney's diabetic. It's the same thing. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's the
I'm
same.
totally kidding. Please don't cancel me.
No. Okay. Yes, I'm excited to share this one. So I have social anxiety, and for years in my professional life, my anxiety would present itself by really worrying about what my clients thought of me. So I would go to a photo shoot and I would be worried about, all the professional stuff, lighting, making sure everything is in focus, making sure everything's high quality. And on top of that, I would also be worried, like, oh, do they think I'm funny? Do they think I'm weird? Am I like being super awkward? This constant social anxiety of, oh, do they like me? I feel like I need to be friends with them, not just be professional, but also be their favorite person in the whole world,
Yeah,
you know?
that's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure and it was very stressful. So I talked with my therapist about it and she just said, like, Whitney, your job is to create beautiful images for them. They are not hiring you to be their comedian or be their best friend. You are just there to create beautiful photos. And yes, so important to be friendly and respectful and professional, but that doesn't mean you have to be everyone's BFF forever, you know?
Yes.
So that's a really big lesson that has really helped me this year, for sure.
I
So,
I love that. And I feel like there a lot of times in the industry, I at least feel like I hear a lot of messaging of you're their photographer, be their best hype woman, be blah 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 blah. And it's like, ma'am, it is not my time to fix all of their insecurities. Like I cannot fix everyone's insecurities in a 2-hour session. Wouldn't it be great if I could though? That costs premium pricing. Like I don't I don't know what to tell you.
you charge extra
Yeah,
for that.
that's extra. That's extra.
Yeah. So, how about you?
This past year in 2022 was super fun for me in January. I think it's winter semester or spring semester. I don't know how they do semesters in college. It always I went to college and I still don't understand. So, but I got to teach a beginning photography course and it was so fun for me. I loved it. I loved getting to interact with college students and it was a little bit of like an not an inner child. Well, I guess I was a child when I went to college, but like it was healing for me to go and to teach at the place where I went to school because I kind of got to give these kids an education um in like the same place where I was and I got to make connections and kind of give them the experience that I don't want to say I wish I had, but I do kind of wish I had and that I did have in some ways. So that
Mhm.
was it was really nice for me and I've kind of if you are my friend or you've known me for a while, I have gone back and forth between going to grad school and the only reason when I really sat down with it why I would want to go to grad school would be to teach. And I talked to one of my professors from my undergrad, and they told me, do not go to grad school if it's just to teach. That is a waste of money. That is a waste of debt and all of that. And I kind of didn't even know if I even wanted to teach. So it was nice to kind of put that hypothesis to the test. To the test.
Mhm.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it. And the end. On to the next
Yeah.
question. What is this is a good one. What is a favorite book of yours or a book that changed your life that isn't religious? Just kidding. That isn't a part of the question, but but just a favorite book of yours. Religious or not.
Uh,
We welcome all religions.
we welcome all religions and
And
non-religious.
non-religious. Just
So,
don't
yes.
be a meanie.
Yes, yes. No. So my favorite books to read casually are usually mysteries, true crime,
Yes.
also celebrity gossip.
Oh
Love
yeah.
it. I'm excited to read Spare. But anyways, but a book that changed my life. So I grew up moving like every year and a half, 2 years, and it was really hard to make friends because I wouldn't really stay in a place long enough to have a friend for like a really long time.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was really hard. Yeah, especially with social anxiety, you know? So, anyways, I read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People when I was in ninth grade, I think. And that just really helped me learn how to make friends and build connections with people. So, just the concepts of asking people what they're interested in and building off of common interests and how most people just love having attention. So, if you're interested in them, they'll usually end up liking you.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah,
so
that
true.
really helped.
That is
Yeah.
my favorite tip. If you ever don't know what to talk about, just ask someone about themselves, and typically they'll just go on, and it's so nice. You can just sit
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yep.
A book that I recently read this past year that I really liked and I think is a good one for everyone kind of in the industry to read or just everyone in general is What We Don't Talk About When We Don't Talk About Fat by Aubrey Gordon. And she
Mm.
hosts the Maintenance Phase podcast with, I'm so sorry, I can't remember your last name, but it's Michael something, Rotten in Denmark on Twitter. Great Twitter follow. But that book has really opened my eyes to the fat bias that I have in my life and just what plays into it. And like, especially in the industry, it's just it's
Hmm.
been interesting to read it. And she also came out with a book just barely, and I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but it is called You Just Need to Lose Weight and 19 Other Myths About Fat People.
Hmm.
Everyone read it. And it just talks about, the junk science behind diet culture, which,
Mm.
come on now, we all know. We all know about it. And it's nice to have a resource just to give your aunt who is like the almond mom in your family and is trying to recruit everyone
Oh,
for her almond mom MLM. Like, just hand her this
yes.
book, guys. It's perfect. And
Oh my gosh.
it's great. That is my book that I read the past year. Also Untamed. If you haven't read Untamed, it
Hmm.
is the newest testament. So,
I haven't read that one yet. Either of
really?
those. I'm gonna need to read those. Yeah, I know.
That's a good one. Both of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna add those. 2023, we are done body shaming ourselves and other people.
Yeah, for
Not the
real.
vibe. Not the vibe.
And in 2023, we're going to examine ourselves and all of the hidden
Yes.
biases that we have
Deconstruct.
because that was eye-opening for me. And I mean, no one can
Mhm.
claim that they don't have, you know, oh, I don't have a racist bone in my body. Okay, you can say that you try not to, but
Yes.
or I don't have, a fat phobic bone in my body. You can say that you try not to,
Yes.
but
Subconsciously, yeah,
that's not
everyone.
your place to decide.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Those sound awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Those are really great.
Now for a change of pace.
Yes. Okay. So, what is one of your unpopular opinions?
My I'm just going to go with an unpopular food opinion and we'll keep it surface level for the first episode. But I hate beans so much. They
Oh,
You name a bean, I hate it. I do like coffee beans, the devil's beans. Those are the only beans that I like. Hummus, I also like. That's a legume, but I hate beans so much, and it's become so notorious that I have a friend named Ivy. She's a wedding photographer. Check her out, Ivy Baker. She sent me a picture of her adorable child trying beans for the first time, and he was covered in black beans. And when I tell you, I literally gagged. I'm not kidding. I can't. I can't.
that is so interesting. Is it like the texture or
It's
flavor?
everything about it. The texture, the
Everything.
flavor, the smell. And
Yeah.
I have diagnosed OCD, so there's probably something there about
Mhm.
that. But I don't know. It's not for me. The bean life is not for me.
There you go.
So,
No beans.
no beans.
No.
So, what about you? What's an unpopular non-spicy opinion for you?
Yes. So my unpopular food opinion is I hate ground beef.
Mhm.
I can eat it in tacos if it's just like a tiny bit with a bunch of other things on it or in a sauce, but by itself, disgusting. Like I will gag, and I have gagged.
What about like
So
burgers?
burgers are good, but it has to be like a thin patty cooked pretty
Big,
well.
not a big juicy patty.
No. Well, I like that if it has like a ton of sauce and lettuce and tomatoes and stuff.
Yeah, just not a
I
plain
am
one.
definitely a topping sauce girl, but plain,
Oh.
ugh, disgusting. Disgusting. Or like just ketchup? No.
Oh, no. Like a
No.
meatloaf?
That's
That's your worst nightmare.
yeah. Oh, meatloaf despise. Despise. Like, I will go hungry. No, thank you.
Oh, that kind of reminds me
Oh,
of my sister. She hates I I have many sisters, but one of them hates soggy meat sauce. That's what she calls like red sauce with ground beef in it. She's like, no soggy meat
Yes.
sauce.
No. So she doesn't like spaghetti.
No, if there's no, as long as there's no beef in it. But that kind of reminds
Oh,
me of you. It's like, no soggy
very
meat sauce. It's so funny.
hilarious. I love that.
Yeah. Uh, what is your most
Mhm.
embarrassing moment, either just in life, professionally? Decide whichever one you want.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to share my most embarrassing moment at a photo shoot. So, I had this brand new client, and this was early in my career. I think it was like a year. I was probably like a year into doing my product business.
Hmm.
And it was like the client was there, and it was this really successful women's own brand. And there were like 5 models and like makeup artists and hair artists and wardrobe and everything, right?
Hmm.
And it was really fun. I was super excited. So I got everything set up, and we had this massive, the biggest size you can get, seamless background. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. So this alone is embarrassing. In my unexperienced mind, I was like, if I just tape this background, it will stay. It did not stay.
We've all been in
Like,
that pinch and we're like, you know what? It's fine. I can do it.
yeah, it is not fine. It is not fine. Like 10 minutes after I put it up, everything was set up, lighting, the entire roll started unrolling. And like it was this loud, crunchy
Oh
paper noise
no.
of the entire paper, the entire roll, like all 30 feet or however long it was, completely unrolling. And everyone just like stood there in shock, frozen. And I was like, trying to get it set up, and I had to figure out how to hang it. I can't remember how I even got it hung up again. We got it hung up, everything was fine, but yeah, that was humiliating.
Wow.
So,
That's
yeah,
okay.
always use clips, always clamps.
Yes.
They're so
Go to
cheap.
Home Depot, get some for 99 cents.
Yes. It's a must.
What kind of tape did you use? Let's drag them on the pod. I'm
Oh
just
my
kidding.
god.
It's probably gaff tape, I'm guessing. Yeah. Gaff tape's
No, I
good.
think it was the packing tape.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, that was
Invest
embarrassing. So,
in a backdrop stand.
yes, yes. I even had a good backdrop stand. It was just the tape.
No, I get it. Sometimes I
No.
like turn into I feel like I get into a trance if I'm super stressed on a shoot and I'm like, seamless? 9 foot seamless? Yeah, I could tape it up. Watch this. So I totally get it. No. And I feel
Yeah.
like we are not alone in the
No. Yeah. You're just always learning
yes.
new things of what to do and not to do.
Yes. And on that note, I
So,
have a very cringy dating story to share.
yes, I love cringy dating stories.
Yeah, I have a plethora. So I was in high school. It's where everyone's cringy dating stories thrive. If you're lucky enough to have dating stories in high school, if you're lucky enough. Um, I had a
Oh,
class with this kid and we sat by each other. We were in a group project together, and apparently that meant that we were compatible. So he asked me on a date. I grew up in a culture where it was very pushed to say yes to the first date. What's the worst that could happen? Assault. That's the worst that could happen. So we went on a date. It wasn't fun. It wasn't like dangerous or anything, but I did not have fun. He was loudly telling me his political views while we were eating gelato.
romantic.
It was romantic. Not really, but you know what? I tell you what, this I got along with him. Like we joked and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but there just wasn't a connection there. Okay?
Yeah.
And listen, junior Sarah in high school, Sarah, she was very tactful. So, I was like, you know what? This one day it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Leaves me at the door, and it's great. I get back to school on Monday, and he asks me, "Hey, he tells me, "Hey, I had a lot of fun. I'd love to go out again." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm busy," thinking, he would get the hint. He's like, "Oh, no, what about next weekend?" And I say, "Oh, I'm busy then too. I have stuff going on, blah, blah, blah." Come up with some excuse. He asks, "Okay, well, what about," well, I think maybe he asked about Saturday and then about Friday and then about the next weekend. Anyway, on the third time he asked, at this point, panic had ensued. In my mind, and I don't know if this is true or not, but the warning bell for the next class was ringing. And I am like playing with my backpack straps. I'm like, I'm actually busy for the next 3 months. And I just run off in the direction of my class, don't say bye. My backpack is flapping in the wind, up against my back. And I am like not thinking anything through because obviously I have to see this kid again tomorrow after this type of situation. And I, to this day, still feel terrible. But anyway, that was pretty embarrassing. And like I said, I feel bad. He's a nice guy. It just was not for me. So
Yeah. And you didn't have the skill set yet to just, say no.
no, I don't think I don't know if I still have the skill set. Like I'm just kidding. I feel like I do now. To wrap that back to photography though.
There's definitely lessons to be learned there. That's so uncomfortable though. At that point, after the first I'm busy. At the latest after the second, he should have been like, "Okay, well, I'd love to go out. If you ever want to go out, hit me up."
Yeah. Yeah, I had his number.
Yes.
Yeah, I will
Bless
say he never texted me after that. And luckily our group project was over in a week. So
Oh, good.
after that, he didn't sit by me anymore in my class.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
it's fine.
Bless our high school hearts.
Yeah. Little Sarah gets a big hug from that because she was trying her hardest. And unfortunately, little insert name who I went out with also gets a hug because I am so, so sorry for hurting your self confidence. That's okay. We can embrace the cringe. We grow. Looping it back to photography. If you are not looking at your past work, either in dating or in photography and cringing, you're not growing. So,
Oh, that is so true. That is, yes. Oh man, we should do a post on like our first work versus our work now. That would be really funny.
oh my gosh, yes,
yeah, it's shocking. Like people paid me money for that, which it did have value, but like
it did have value, but less value.
value.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. Yeah, I think that's all our questions. We're so excited for this podcast. We just hope it's a fun place to hang out and be inspired and laugh and learn.
Yes.
That is way too close to live, laugh, love.
Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Love Lab. The Live, Laugh, Love The Live, Laugh, Love Lab of creatives. We hope you can live, laugh, love, and lab. But no, I agree. We want it to be, being an entrepreneur can be so lonely sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of just started this podcast so you can feel a little bit less lonely, and mainly just so we can talk once a week and you have to listen.
Yes. Have an adult human interaction.
Yeah, yes. And hopefully you can interact with us as well.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope you got something helpful and inspiring out of our conversation and just got to know us better. To support our work and to see new episodes, you can find us wherever podcasts are found. You can subscribe there, and we will also be sharing the episodes on YouTube. So join us again next week, and until then, stay creative.
Bye.
Bye.